Language class today, we're looking at zero and first conditional. Yesterday, we had a look at the zero conditional. Today, we're going to step into the first conditional as well. Now, it's an interesting phrase that I've used there, to step into. Okay, to step into. I always think about stepping into when we step into different conditionals. And you'll probably see why I say that, because conditional sentences, what we find is that we step into different tenses. Okay, we step into different ideas, step into different times. And we also do something which is a bit strange that we'll have a look at today. So let me go and show you my document. So a really good question that came through yesterday from Joshna was, what about questions and negatives? Can we use those? And of course we can, with all tenses, with passive, with anything you can think of, you can always put questions and negatives, because humans are inquisitive creatures. And also we like to be negative sometimes and say that something's not true or that something doesn't happen. So before we go and have a look at this, let's just very, very quickly review the zero conditional. Okay, so we use if plus the present, and in the second part of the sentence, we use the present again. So what do I mean? So if I ask, let me ask Sonia. Hi, Sonia, can you hear me?
Yes, hi.
Yes.
So what do I mean, Sonia, if I say the first part of the sentence and the second part of the sentence? What do I actually mean by that?
The first part is the if clause,
Mm-hmm.
and the second part is the result of it.
Result clause, yeah. So if we go back up and have a look here, we've got two clauses. We've got the if clause, which some people call the conditional clause, and then we've got the result clause. So the whole point of it is, would you go to work if you were not paid, Sonia?
It happened to me, but
Yeah,
but
never
not
again.
anymore.
Yeah, never again. Okay, yeah. So
I
obviously, yeah,
wouldn't.
interns do that, don't they? When they want to get experience, and young people do that sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, so when we talk about a condition, one condition of you moving into my house is that you clean the floor. Okay, so that means if you
If you
clean the floor,
clean my
yeah,
floor.
you can live in my house. Yeah, so that's what conditions are. So the condition is in this if clause, and what we need to understand is that what happens in the result clause is caused by what is in the if clause, which is in the conditional clause.
Yes.
Okay, so that result always happens, but what becomes less and less realistic is what's in the conditional clause, the if clause. We never include will or would. Thank you, Sonia. We never include will or would in the if clause. So I don't say if I will see your mum tomorrow. That's why I've got that in red there. If I see your mum, not if I will see your mum. We put will or would have in the result clause instead. And then we can also change the order of the clauses. But if we do change the order of the clauses, we do not include a comma if we put the if clause at the end. So notice that in my normal speech, I use if all the time. When teaching or giving instructions, it's really, really useful to use conditionals. Okay. So let's make sure that everyone's on mute, please, because there's some sound coming through from somewhere. I don't know where that's coming from. Okay, that sounds better. Okay, so we looked at the zero conditional yesterday. Now I'd like to look at the questions and negatives. So let's look at the second one first and look at the negative. So there's some noise coming through from somewhere. I don't know where that's coming from. Mira. I've just put you on mute there, Mira. Okay. So should I ask my boss for a raise? Nards, are you there, Nards?
Sir,
Hi, Nards. What does that mean, a raise?
salary increase,
A
I
salary?
guess.
Perfect. Salary increase, yeah. Okay, that's great. Have you ever asked your boss for a raise, Nads?
No, I did that.
Really? You know what? It's strange, isn't it? So many people are afraid of doing it. But what's the worst that can happen? They just say no. But it's uncomfortable, isn't it? Talking about money sometimes.
Yes.
Okay, so we've got a great phrase in English. So, should I ask my boss for a raise? Now, I want you to do the zero conditional with me, Nads. Okay, so if you don't something, you don't something. What do you think this phrase would be? You still there, Nads? No, Nads is gone. Does anyone else know what should go here?
If you don't pay,
Okay.
Don't raise my salary.
No.
It's if you don't ask, you don't get it.
Yes, superb. Yeah. If you don't ask, well, actually, it's a strange phrase in English. If you don't ask, you don't get. That's what we say. So if you think about it, again, what's the tense of ask? Or don't?
present tense,
Present.
Present, isn't it? And you don't get?
present tense.
It's the present tense. So it's very general, isn't it? It's a generally true thing. So it's in all situations. So if I've got a banana here, okay, if you wanted my banana, you could ask for it. Okay. Do you know what I would say if you asked for my banana?
No.
Yeah, I'd say no. But if you don't ask, you definitely won't get it. So if you don't ask, you don't get. So zero conditional, generally true, normally true, but it's not really about you. It's not really about this situation. It's just in general. Okay, let's talk about the questions. So, what do you think goes in here? Look at the answer. You normally die. So if,
I don't eat.
yeah, or let's think. Let's put you again. If you don't eat, what
happens?
What happens? Yeah. So again, we've got this general idea, haven't we? Don't eat, happens, and then you normally die. So have you noticed you here? What does you mean?
Subject.
In
Yeah.
general.
Yes, you're absolutely right. In this case, we're using you as a general for everybody. Okay, you. If you learn a language when you're young, it helps you in later life. If you get good qualifications from school, you can earn good money. If you work in a hospital in the UK, you get a good contract. Okay, so you here is not, it's not you, Anna. It's not you, Fitter. It's everybody. Okay, and look at the conditional that we're using here. Okay, we're using the zero conditional. So that's something that I want to talk about here. In the zero conditional, we're talking about generally true, normally true, a statement which is true. But what we're going to do is we're going to step into a direction which is more personal. Okay. We're going to step into a direction where we're going to make a prediction, and we're going to talk, when we say you now, I'm going to talk about you, Anna, or you, Fitter. When I say I'm talking about me. I'm talking about something that will happen. Okay, so predictions. Can anyone make a prediction about the weather in the UK today? We've got a few people who are based in the UK. Any predictions? If you look at the sky, what do you think today?
No, I think it will be raining all day.
You think it will?
No, it's
yeah.
opposite. It's gonna be sunny.
Sunny later. It will be sunny later, I think.
Because it's already sun.
Well, maybe where you are. Where? So, sorry, Sonia, you're down south, aren't you?
London, west of London.
Yeah, so you're west of
almost.
London. Well, I've got to tell you, me and Fitter, we're up in the northwest.
Yeah.
It's heavy raining today.
Well, looking out of my window now, we've got a type of weather called, it looks almost like sleet. Have you ever heard of that weather before? Sleet.
No.
It's the worst kind of weather you can imagine.
Really?
I'm
It's
sorry,
horrible.
here it's very beautiful in Cambridge.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I'm sorry to
Here
hear.
is beautiful as well.
Well, you should be sorry. Okay, that's one of the advantages of the south. You get better weathers in the
It's a
south
bit
of England.
windy
Better
and
weather.
very cold. It's crisp, but it's very beautiful.
It's crisp, blue sky, cold but fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
No, here we've got a combination of rain, cold weather, and inside the rain there are some heavier bits. So there's some bits which are almost snow, not quite snow, but it's heavier. So
It
it's
must
not.
be cold then.
It's cold. It is. So we call that sleet. Okay. So when we look at the sky or we look out the window and we look at the weather and we think, should I go for a walk later? Should I meet my mum in the park or should we go to a restaurant? Okay. I'm trying to make predictions. So for that, I'm going to use the first conditional. And the first conditional grammar, can anyone give me the first conditional?
If it stops raining.
If plus.
Well.
Oh yeah.
Remember what we said, Anna? No will with if.
Verb.
If plus present. Yep.
Present.
If it's cloudy.
And then we've got will or going to plus the infinitive.
Modal verb.
Well, will and going to, I suppose that we count those as modal verbs because they tell me that the verb that I'm talking about is in the future. But they have the same role, but they're auxiliary verbs, aren't they? They help me create the tense.
Yes.
Okay, so if plus present, will or going to plus infinitive. So will and going to, what are they for? They're for the what tense?
Future.
The future.
Future.
The future. So they're perfect for making predictions. Okay, they're really good for making predictions. So let's think about this. Pardon me. If I use the coffee idea again, if I drink coffee, I won't be able to sleep. Okay. That's the first conditional. It's a negative because the negative of will is won't or will not. Okay. So let's look at these two ideas. Let me get them both and put them here. If I drink coffee, I cannot sleep. If I drink coffee, I will not be able to sleep. So let's look at those two ideas. Which one of these situations or which one of these sentences would you associate with having a coffee with your friend? It's 9 o'clock at night. You're in your house.
Second one.
Yeah. The second one. It's interesting, isn't it? The first one, you're talking only about generally true situations. Okay.
Is it a zero condition?
It's a zero conditional, but in the second one, it's more personal, isn't it? It's more, I'm talking about now. If I drink a coffee, I won't be able to sleep. So I'm making a prediction. So in this one, it's more general, but it's 100%. But this one's a prediction. It's about the future. That's what predictions are, isn't it? It's a prediction about the future. Now, my question to you is this.
Is it 50-50?
Well, that's a good, you're going in the same direction as me. We are stepping away from certainty If I say if I drink coffee, I cannot sleep, I am certain about that. I am saying something which is certain, but we can never be certain about the future. Not 100%. We can feel certain about the future, but it's still a prediction. So we are ever so slightly stepping away from certainty. And that's something that we should really think about here. Now, what part of it is not certain? Well, let's look at this sentence. If I drink coffee, I cannot sleep. So if I ask, let me ask Andrea, you've just come in. Hello, Andrea.
Hello.
Hi, Andrea. Okay, so we're just talking about the difference between zero and first conditional.
Yep.
Okay, so look at this first one. If I drink coffee, I cannot sleep. So in this one, this bit here is absolutely certain, isn't it? We're talking about what happens when I drink coffee.
Yes.
Yep, it's 100% certain. So it's this bit that's 100% certain. Okay, let's make it yellow. This bit is 100% certain. But in this case, if I drink coffee, I will not be able to sleep. It's a prediction about the future. So am I actually drinking coffee in this example?
Um.
No.
I'm not, am I? I'm actually
No.
saying in this sentence, I'm actually saying I'm not going to drink the coffee. That's what you learn from this. If I drink coffee, I will not be able to sleep. That's the kind of thing you say when you don't want to drink a coffee. So the idea of drinking the coffee becomes less certain. And that's something that we're going to find when you step from first conditional into second conditional. You'll see that the second conditional steps even further away from reality, from the certainty. Okay, so first conditional, we're making predictions. It's still quite certain, but it's not 100% certain anymore. And don't forget, we don't always have to tell the truth. We're just saying it like we're telling the truth. Okay, Abdullah, do you have a question? Hello, Abdullah. I can see you've got your hand up there, but I can't hear you. No? I think you've got a problem with your microphone there, Abdullah. It just sounds like a bit. Okay, so first conditional.
You can hear me?
There you go. I can hear you now a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah,
I said that's true. That's correct. If I say if I pass my OET exam, I will definitely get a job in UK.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's more certain.
No, it's not as certain as this, is it? If
it's more than 50-50.
If somebody, yeah, it is definitely. If somebody passes OET, they have a good chance of getting a job in the UK. Now, that's a certain thing. That's what I'm saying. Okay, if somebody passes OET, they have a good chance of getting a job in the UK. I am making that as a statement of fact. If I pass OET, I will get a job in the UK. Okay, but anything could happen in between you passing OET and you getting a job. Anything could happen. You know, God forbid, you could have an accident, or you might get a job in the US. You know, so it's just a little bit less certain. I'm not saying that you can't feel certain. You can, but remember that the future is not in our hands. When you make a prediction, you've got to say to yourself, okay, it's just a prediction, or it's just an intention. It's not a fact. Okay.
I'm just saying, can we put definitely here?
Say that if you, okay, you put the word definitely here. Okay, well, now we're starting to get almost into, it's a little bit like philosophy, this. Okay, for you, it's definite. For you, it's definite, but for me, it's not, because you're talking about the future.
Yes, you are right.
Okay. So, okay. So Mira, can you put your microphone on mute for a moment? Because there's a bit of noise coming through. Thank you. So I hope that.
Mine it is on,
Oh,
it
yeah.
is on mute, and it was.
Oh, that
The
was
noise
yours.
is not from me.
Oh, no. Sorry. I said, no, not Mirabella. Mira.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, we've got a Mira and a Mirabella. Okay.
Okay, sorry.
All right. Okay. So I hope that answers your question, Abdullah. Remember, language is something which is infinitely flexible. Okay. You can do lots of different things with it. You can express yourself in so many different ways. Okay. So yes, you're right, Abdullah. There are times when someone can put the word definitely in there and it feels certain, but it's just a little bit uncertain. And you'll see it's quite difficult to see the difference between zero and first conditional in terms of certainty. But when we do the second conditional tomorrow, you'll see it makes a really big difference. And then you can see that actually we're certain here, and as we go through the conditionals, we become less and less real. And then you'll see the line. Okay, so let's make some predictions. Okay, everyone. I'm going to end our video here. If anybody wants to know more about conditionals or IELTS or OET, please do let us know.